Welcome back, DNA Strand crew, to the newest episode of Stardom Situm Saturday here on the Dynasty DNA Podcasting Network. I'm your host, TJ Blake. You can follow me over on Twitter at FFTJBlakeDNA. And as always, for Stardom Situm Saturday, and I got a new nickname for him. He's Dynasty DNA's propaganda minister. He's the one and only Justin TESSERJA. You can follow him over on Twitter at TESSERJA91. TESSERJA, let me just say this. I know everyone at the network would support me in saying this. You've done an awesome job reaching out, getting new people involved with us. We really appreciate that. And we're just happy to have more people, right? Like, we enjoy doing this, all of us together. We have fun. And like you said, a lot of good, knowledgeable things we talk about. Today it's going to be start sits, week 5. Are you ready to go? First bye week this week.
I know. Doesn't that make it spicy? Take some players out of the contention and it spices things up. Maybe get some new, fresh names here. And, I'm ready and fired up to go. Let's go, DNA Strand. Let's get those lineups in and get that win.
All right. Heck yeah, man. And we got Coolio with us, I believe, already there in the chat. Our good friend. Yeah, heck yeah, man. Hope he's doing good tonight. We got a lot to talk about. And, as always on this show, we have the chat up and rolling. And as it gets going, we'll follow along and give people best start sit advice and, maybe some trade questions or anything they have. We love talking some of that. But as we always open up the show to share, we're going to start with quarterback starts for week 5. Wish it was still week 1. We always lose. We lose so much of the season, and I miss it so good. It's like a little bit's gone. It's just chipping away. But what do you have for us for a quarterback start in week 5 to share? Because I'm excited to hear what you have here this week.
I live by this creed. I die by this creed. If you know me, you know my team. I am starting Jared Goff against the Cincinnati Bengals. I am firing him up. I got him with a ceiling of 28 points and a floor of 20 points. I see it easily as a multi-touchdown game. I think those secondaries going to get blasted and exposed by the sun god's rays. And I think J-Mo can find his way on a big play in the end zone. So I think that I think it's going to be a 300-yard game for Goff. I think this is one of those statement games where the Lions, they did what they did to the Ravens earlier this year. They did what they did to the Browns last week. And I think they're on a warpath and they're going to light that division on fire. and they're going to put up a bunch of points.
Yeah, 100%. And I would be really excited to have any Lions asset going up against Cincinnati right now. I mean, it is that bad. Look, Steelers fan, I can't sit here and say I really feel bad for Cincinnati. And, we heard it. Big Culture Bob said it before the season. Yeah. You got to build the garage. Until you build the garage, we're going to have these issues. So I got to give him credit on that. He was all over this, and it is deflating for guys like Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. There's so many viable guys that could be fantasy contributors at a high level, and it's just not happening. And this defense makes it even worse. We knew it was going to be bad, and boy, it just, with the offense flatlining like they are, I just think it makes it even worse on a team like this. And, Jared Goff, to share, we go back to week 1 where Green Bay kind of had their way with the Lions a little bit, and a lot of people were saying, oh, man, maybe this is kind of like a little bit of a downfall of the Lions. Well, not so fast because we're back and rolling. Like I said, I predicted them to win the division. It's looking good, but I like Jared Goff this week. I think even in one quarterback leagues, you got to be enticed. Oh, yeah. I know that you might have some better options sitting around maybe or here or over there, but it's got to be enticing this week. It has to be to play him. How many points do you put him on? And do you think – I love the call out when you did Sam Laporta against Baltimore, right? We talked about that. You said, look, he's going to have a good game. Who do you think benefits the most alongside Goff in a game like this? Do you just think everyone eats, or do you think maybe there's a guy that could really ramp up the points with the Lions outside of Jared Goff?
Oh, man. It is one man, I think, and it's going to be out of the backfield on the wheel routes and screen pass. I think this is going to be a Jahmyr Gibbs just feast fest. I think he's going to be the fastest cat on the field, and I think that it's going to be absolute murder if you're playing against him in your fantasy lineups. You're going to be looking up and seeing Jahmyr Gibbs on the other sideline, and you're going to be like, oh, damn. Because I can see for both Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs at least 20-plus points as a floor for this week. And I think as a ceiling, I think it's more likely Gibbs gets to the 30 mark, but I think Goff is close behind him at like 28, 27 points. But yeah, I think that at least one of those touchdown passes is going to Jahmyr Gibbs to the house. And I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be more showcased in this matchup than David Montgomery. Now, I still would emphasize that I would not have a problem with putting Jahmyr Gibbs in my running back one spot and flexing David Montgomery this week, because if this game gets out of hand, I can see him taking the lion's share, no pun intended, of the carries in the second half of the game if it's a multi-possessional lead for the Lions, and they like to put their Cadillacs in the garage, so to speak, on that offense.
So they put him in the garage, absolutely. So look, Teixeira, I love the call out, and I love how you said play Montgomery too. I'm all for that. So we got some questions starting to roll in. We'll start here with Coolio. He asks, Kyler or Herbert here? What are we going to go with in a situation like this, Teixeira? You got Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert. You have to play one of them. Who are you going with between these two guys here?
I'm going with the momentum swing. I think what we've seen in the fight out of this guy in the Thursday night game against the Seahawks, I'm going to play Kyler Murray over Justin Herbert. I think we saw the spark, the lights, the fire for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think this could be the get-right game to get things going for the rest of season. And I think Kyler Murray will use his legs and be able to manipulate that Tennessee defense at his will to do whatever he wants with them. I can see a big game coming out of Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and I think between either of those two backs, I think there'll be enough passing catching duty that they'll be able to be utilized and started as well. I just don't like the vibes going around the Chargers right now. They lost a shocking of a game against the Giants. They got kind of punched in the mouth, and now they're going up against the Commanders. They'll have Jaden Daniels back, and I think that'll be more of a run-heavy game, script game. I think we'll see a lot more Hampton in this game than we will see Herbert. I think they'll try to keep this game close to the vest. If they have a lead, they'll probably lean on that run game and not keep the ball out of Herbert's hands in a way, but they won't throw as recklessly or as abandoned as they have been the first 4 weeks. I think this is going to be a more controlled, concise offense, which really caps the ceiling of the performance of a Justin Herbert. Like, I can see Herbert getting between 20 and 22 points this week, and that's just basic off passing volume and a couple touchdowns to one of the wide receivers. But with Murray, I think he can get in the end zone with his legs, and I think he can get it in the end zone through a couple times through the air. So that's like a floor of 20 points there with the ceiling of probably like 26, I want to say, 25, 26.
Okay, so you like
beating up on that. Yeah, I like beating up on that Tennessee defense.
You're picking on Tennessee, and but you look at it, it's a red light matchup, right? But I tend to agree with you here, Teixeira. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm full-fledgedly panicked about the Chargers, because I'm not. But, no Joe Alt, no Slater. We lost both bookend tackles. I don't like that. And, the Commanders are a team, you said, get Jaden Daniels back. I think that they really want to win this game. I think this could be sneaky low scoring. I really do. And like you said, I could see the Chargers maybe trying to get back to that Jim Harbaugh's roots of running the ball. So, yeah, I'm going to go Kyler, too. Look, I mean, against Tennessee, I know that they can get after the quarterback just a little bit, but, like, there's just nothing there that super scares me. And like you said, I just think that there could be a ceiling in a game like this, for a player like him, and I would go that route. I think there's a better chance of him getting higher points in a game like this. We have the Irish Con asking, Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence this week? Another quarterback question, Teixeira. You going to go with Bo Nix or you going to go with Trevor Lawrence?
I had him on the wrong side of my quarterbacks list this week, but I'm feeling it. I think there's something to this Jacksonville team. They're going to play with a little bit of fire coming off of that 49ers matchup. I know they won and take that momentum. And I'm going to go lean Lawrence here because I think that playing in Philadelphia, Bo Nix is going to get a little bit shell-shocked with that secondary in Philadelphia. And I think that the game script will call for what the Eagles always do. They're going to run and limit the other team's possessions and limit the other team's opportunities. And with Bo Nix, if he can't capitalize and be perfect on every drive and come away with points, I feel that ceiling for him, that fantasy performance cap, could be more closer to the 20-point range and like high teens than what I see with Lawrence, who, if he can get Brian Thomas Jr. going, like, and punch these Chiefs in the mouth and kind of make a statement at home in front of your fans, in front of that crowd in prime time. And I think it's kind of like the whole Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. narrative I'm trying to talk about. Is just I think that this is kind of a game that they can make it honest and they can make it a respectable showing against the Chiefs and really capitalize on some opportunity here. I think that they don't need to get cute with the whole uh, getting Travis Hunter involved, running the ball. I think that this could be a Brian Thomas Jr. week, and I'm also confident starting him as well.
Okay, interesting. And really, like, this is a tough one. Like, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think, I could see a world where both of these guys end up getting around 16 type points, somewhere in that range. Matchups are both tough. I think I'm going to lean Bo just by a hair because, look, I mean, you could go either way on this, and I don't blame Teixeira, but after what I seen from Kansas City, like, they beat a good team and look good doing it. That was the thing with the Ravens. I know they're down a little bit right now, and I love to give Wiz a hard time about that. I really do, but they still are a good team. Don't let anyone fool you.
Yeah.
They've had a tough schedule, a lot of rotten luck here early, and I just think that the Chiefs really kind of hit that stride. They know they're going to be getting Rashee Rice back. They kind of could breathe a sigh of relief there. So I'm a little bit worried about Jacksonville, in a game like that, right? And and my thing is, with the running the ball, it could go both these defenses. The Chiefs, the Eagles. They could shut that down. So I'm just going to go with the mobility of Bo Nix, I think, a little bit here. A little bit more. I think, I'm just hoping maybe with the rushing yards it gives me a little bit of an edge. But I couldn't blame you for going Trevor Lawrence, and you laid it out, why you would do that. So, I think that was a good layout on your part to share. And again, if both, and it's unfortunate, but if both these guys got 16 points, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. And that would be unfortunate. But hopefully one of them could break out for you there, Irish Con, and get you them points. But we also have here from Exotic Lord, pick 2 out of 3.
Ooh, okay.
Now, I love these ones. I like these ones.
Spicy.
2 out of the 3, half PPR. Rico Dwaddle, Rachaad White, Woody Marks. Okay, so I'll go ahead and go first here on this one. I'm going to go Woody Marks, and I'm going to go Rachaad White. Look, I mean, I like Rico Dwaddle, but I just think that he's more of a yin to a yang. I know Chuba is always dealing with a little something, but we know that no Bucky Irving for Tampa Bay. It's going to give Rachaad White the opportunities. Woody Marks, is there, what I love to share? My family, everyone that's played fantasy football for a long time, coined the phrase dirty points. Woody Marks is a dirty point servant. I mean, he gets all these little dump downs, that's viable, man. We talked about this on the Dynasty DNA deep dive. I could see him getting just 10 to 12 a game on these little dump downs, man. So I think that's still possible. Rachaad White is a guy that, look, he's been a serviceable, well-rounded back in this league. We've seen it. He can do it. I'm going to rely on him getting the full workload here. So I'm going to go Rachaad White. I'm going to go Woody Marks. Any difference in opinion there to share? Would you throw Rico in over any of those two?
Yes, absolutely. I'm an Uncle Rico fan, and I would throw Rico Dottle against this Dolphins defense and with a full workload. Chuba Hubbard has already been listed out for this week. He will not be there, so it's going to be the full workload for Dottle. And that man, when he got it for the Cowboys and they finally utilized him and gave him the opportunities and dumped it off to him and gave him the workload, he performed for me. He single-handedly carried me through a lot of leagues in my playoffs and got me to championships games, so I'm forever indebted to him. But still, the fact of the matter is, in that Panthers-Dolphins game, I think it's going to be a lot of those dirty points on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a lot of head scratching of who just got a touchdown, who scored, who's doing good. And I think Rico Dottle can emerge as one of those names in that matchup that you could see surprising you and getting 12-plus points. And if you have that in your flex spot and you're running back too, that's solid. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more in the position he's stepping himself into this weekend. And I love Rachaad White as well. I think I'm confident firing him up against Seattle. I think he's going to get a lot more of the dump-off opportunities with the injuries to Mike Evans and the slow start to Chris Godwin getting eased into this offense and not entirely just unleashed. But I think that those two backs could be primarily where your go-to for this weekend's matchups alone. I think with the whole Woody Marks thing, I'm not quite eating at that bakery yet. I'm not shopping for those donuts and that glaze. I need to see more. I need to see more what he can do and more established workload because what he was able to do last week was nice, but it wasn't exactly the most premier or elite defense, and the game script didn't really call for, his full level of talent, which we've seen him do in college level. I just need to see more of it. And I think trying to trot him out there, a rookie, against an angry Baltimore team that's going to not have their quarterback, so they're going to be leaning on their running game as well. It could result into limited opportunities, limited drives, which could cap his fantasy ceiling performance. That's not to say he's going to have a bad week. I just think that the ceiling for the other two guys is higher than what he marks this week.
Yeah, you definitely can make a case for that, right? Like, I mean, I do think, it's just going to depend on, like, can the Panthers offense get it going enough, because this is a great matchup. It's like, can they do it well enough against a bad team? And then, we got to really see that. But, I mean, I think you and I 100% are agreeing. So I think Rachaad White has to have one of those spots. I mean, I agree. And we'll see where it goes from there. But we have Matt C. asking here, got offered Addison for Rachaad White. So I don't know if this is Dynasty, Matt, if you want to put that in the chat or redraft. But, I mean, either way at this point, look, I know Bucky's dealing with a little bit of something. I'm going to take Jordan Addison because, like, I love me some Jordan Addison. This guy's always been a guy I liked as a wide receiver, 2-ish type player, flex play. I mean, he's always reliable. Teixeira can attest to this. The Minnesota offense, he knows a lot about it. I just want a piece of that. So, I mean, would you be any different for me there, Teixeira? But I think Dynasty or redraft, give me Jordan Addison.
Yeah, Dynasty and redraft, despite the quarterback situation, despite their offensive struggles recently, I'm going with the player that has the longevity going forward in Dynasty. Like, I can see him being in the league for a lot longer, a lot more fantasy prevalent for us. I think that this is White's opportunity. You'd like to seize it. But what happens beyond that when Buck Irving comes back? He goes back to that irrelevancy role, that handcuff, that backup, that benchmark, which is nice to have in deeper leagues when you have a deeper bench and to have stash. But, like, if you want someone that you can fit in your lineups when you need an emergency, slot him in that wide receiver 2 spot when McCarthy comes back and that offense gets humming. I just think the higher potential and the higher fantasy outcome for between those two guys in a full PPR league as well. I think Addison just has a higher ceiling, and he's in a better offense with a better play caller.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. He did say it was redraft, Matt did. And, yeah, like I said, I don't think it really matters, but I just think you're going to get the better player a little bit longer term there. So, nothing wrong with that. But as we await more questions to pour in, we got to go over to my quarterback start here for week 5. And, somewhere Ty is smiling right now because we talked about him on the Triple Threat podcast. It's Drake May of the New England Patriots. Now, look, I think everyone's looking at this saying, look, TJ, he's going up against the Bills. Are you sure about this? Well, not so fast. The Bills kind of struggled a little bit there with the Saints, and we've seen Spencer Rattler be able to move the ball a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to be anything wonderful or anything like that, but he was able to move the ball. What we are seeing from Drake May as far as fantasy goes is great. We're seeing runs from him. He's using his legs. I mean, he's definitely getting out there in space, utilizing his athleticism, and he's still throwing the ball very well with a lack of weapons. And, like, here's the thing. Even if Buffalo shellacks New England, in which that's very rare, these games between these two teams are usually pretty competitive, but even if Buffalo shellacks New England, I mean, Drake May is going to have to be throwing, right? They're chasing the game. It's game script. It's all kind of goes right into his hands. Like, I just think the fact that the matchup has the opportunity to produce high-end fantasy numbers on both sides of the card, and I want a piece of that. I want a piece of Drake May. What is he, like quarterback 4 right now? Balling. The guy's just absolutely on fire. Oh, 100%. That's even what Coolio said. Drake has been fantasy balling, no doubt. And, Ty loves it because Ty said, look, this is dime store Josh Allen. He said that last year. He loved him. I mean, just like one of these guys that he's brought into his little circle of accepted players. And, it's just gone very well with Drake May. I got to play him this week. I mean, quarterback 4 or whatever he is, I can't sit him down. And, hey, we'll see what he does. I mean, if he can produce a quarterback 1 finish against Buffalo and maybe even keep New England in this game, I mean, the ceiling in the future is looking really bright for Drake May because just think, not a lot of weapons. It can only get better. So, do you agree with my starter Drake May to share? Do you like that? Do you have confidence going with him against Buffalo?
I really like that call out. I really like it. It's a bold take, but that's something you got to do sometimes to get the win, to put you over the edges. Go for those not so ideal situations and defenses you're going against, because that could bring out the high caliber, top tier ceiling performances from these players that might shock you. Like I can easily see a route of him having a floor of like the 16, 18 points. But if he gets his groove going, he gets his momentum, and those pass catchers are flying for him, and the big plays and deep ball threats, and then you got Hunter Henry, the big red zone target, securing catches for him, get those touchdowns. I think that he has a ceiling of 30 plus points. I mean, and let's be honest too. He's still got mobility too, like his legs. I think he's gonna have to use them a lot this game to escape that pass rush, and that will only increase his odds of like having a higher fantasy performance. I really like him going forward rest of season. I think he until shown otherwise, I'm starting him confidently and just forgetting it. Like I'm not questioning it over a lot of my other options I have if I'm in a super flex as my quarterback too.
Yeah, because we've seen it, multiple weeks now, and that's what I like to see. I like to see proof in the pudding. We have another question here, Exotic Lord. One last question: redraft, half PPR, trade Alvin Kamara for Tet McMillan. So, okay, this is a redraft, half point PPR. Would you trade Alvin Kamara for Tet McMillan, considering it is half point PPR to share?
Yeah, that is as close as that gets.
While you're thinking, let me just say this, because this kind of just hit me, and I think it's very important, Exotic Lore, when you're looking at this, right? Like, look at your roster. Like, if you need a wide receiver desperately, like, okay, like, say you're happy with your running backs. Like, say, I need help at wide receiver. I don't mind making this move, right? I mean, I always say this with redraft. To Sharon knows, you got to shake it up. Sometimes you got to do something a little crazy. Look, it might backfire, sure, but that's the only way you're going to win redraft leagues lots of times. You got to try to really do something to get it going, and it's a long season. Things change. I've seen teams go 12, 11, 10 wins and look like the best team in the league and just absolutely fall out. So sometimes you got to try to change it up. I have no problems with that. So, yeah, really look at your roster. As Coolio said, roster needs for sure. If you need a receiver, I have no problem with it. But if you are any inkling worried about your running back, say like, if I trade Kamara, I might not have the depth. I'm probably going to hold Kamara, because running backs are so important, especially in redraft. So I don't know if you have any difference in opinion to share, but that's what I'm thinking.
I think I'm personally trying to hold on to Kamara unless if my hand is forced. Like if I'm needing to get a win really bad this week, or I really have good depth and I'm not worried about it. Like Kamara's one of those guys that he can win you a week too in the past, and we see it just not happen so far. It might be on the recipe for this weekend against the Giants, but I just that like I was saying in earlier shows, that Panthers offense is hot, it's cold, it's yes, it's no, it's up, it's down, like it's so all over the place that I don't think we've gotten enough confidence in Tet McMillan yet to just trot him out there over an Alvin Kamara in like a flex spot. If I'm assuming this is probably be the flex spot position. And typically, I like to go wide receiver, but I think to me, Kamara is still too established to have Tet usurp him in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, any way you look at it, I just think no matter what, make sure you're not going to thin yourself out too much at running back. That's the one mistake in redraft that it would haunt you. You can't make it because running back's a position that's so valuable. You lose them and it just can kill you. Like, just for an example, like it's easier to backfill receivers. Look what kind of like Darius Slayton's doing with the Giants right now, right? You can pick a guy like that off waivers, when you have injuries. Running backs are a little bit harder to get. So, I mean, just be careful before you go on and make a move like that. Irish Khan put on here, my dynasty, I'm at win now, traded for Laporta before the season. Is it time to panic or be patient, to share? You are the Lions guy. You know this team better than anybody. I mean, we do see so many weapons, so many mouths to feed in this offense. If you had Laporta rostered, in his scenario, win now, or you panicked right now with what we've seen from Laporta throughout the duration of the season up to this point?
Being the landscape of the tight end position, if you don't have one of the top three guys right now, I think that I would be patient with Sam Laporta at this point in the year. I'd hate to panic because I don't know much pivot options you could do at the tight end position if you don't have the Trey McBrides or the Jake Fergusons or the Tucker Crafts of the tight end fantasy world I think that Laporta will have his games at some point this season. How frequent will they be compared to his rookie year? Jury is still out because that offensive coordinator is still new to them. They're still feeling it out. And I mean, we saw the game with the Ravens, but that was one game out of four. And I'm positive that there'll be more good coming from Laporta rest of season than bad. Like, I think you'll be more content with his finishes than you'll be frustrated or upset. Like, I don't see him goosing you or getting you like finishes that really tank your matchups. But I think we just need to temper our expectations with him this year as far as what his ceiling can be. I mean, like we've been saying, there's plenty of mouths to feed in Detroit, and it might be one of those situations where it's a rotational game. It's a JMO game, it's a Gibbs game, it's a Monty game, it's a Mom and Rod game. But I just because it's a tight end position, I'm not panicking. If it was a wide receiver and we're getting these performances, yeah, I would definitely be trying to pivot somewhere else and try to find something new. But I'd be fine just sticking pat with Laporta at my tight end.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a streaky position. I mean, we see that a lot, right? Like, I mean, we started out Tucker Kraft, now Jake Ferguson's tight end one. And, that's kind of like the old fantasy adage. I mean, a lot of people with Brock Bowers, what's he? Tight end 9 right now, right? Like, I'm not worried whatsoever about Brock Bowers. So, like, I mean, it sucks, no doubt about it. But, like, being its dynasty, Irish Con, like, being its dynasty, like, I'm not so worried. If it was redraft, it would be disgusting, right? Because you're not getting those points. Yeah. But I think there will be better days, better skies ahead for Laporta. And look, I could see him visiting the end zone more. Like, I think that if you're going to see Laporta put up more of these bigger tight end games, it's going to have to be on touchdowns. I think those will come. I think it's just a matter of time. And I'm okay with it. I'm not overly panicking yet. Now, if there was a deal that come along that was legitimate, that was true, if as long as you ain't going to undersell by any means, if you were willing to move on then, just make sure the deal's fair. I have no problem with that if you're getting a little bit cold feet. But I'm not. I'm just not going to panic sell for sure. I'm just going to wait it out, and the right opportunity will present.
Would you wait on a big performance and try to flip him to upgrade at tight end? Like, say he has a bigger game, then like try to package him to flip him to upgrade?
Well, see, here's the problem, right? Like, I mean, upgrade though, how, right? Because like if Jake Ferguson's tight end 1 right now,
McBride or like,
yeah. If I could get either of those guys for sure. Like, but like we haven't even seen the best of their game. Like we talk about this being a streaky position. Like, what do we have? Jake Ferguson, Tucker Kraft. Some of these guys are in the top 5. Like, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, if you could get a Bowers, if you could get a McBride, absolutely, I have no problem. Because I do think you're going up as far as overall dynasty value goes, and as far as performance too. I do think them guys are better than Laporta. But if I can't get anything outside of that, I mean, basically to me, you're going down, and it's weird because Jake Ferguson, Tucker Kraft, all them guys are out competing Laporta. So it's kind of strange to say that, but that's kind of the truth of the matter. So you just got to be careful. And like we talk about 2026 draft capital, we're not in love with it, right? Like, I have no problem. This can go on record right now. I have no problem. If I knew my team was so good, I have to know that. I have to know I'm a top 2 or 3 team. If I'm having trouble at tight end and that's the only position I need, I would trade a late first 2026 for Jake Ferguson right now. No problem. Because you know why? Even next year, if he's not tight end 1, he'll be tight end 9. And I'm still getting good points there. So I have no problem with that. So that's just a suggestion as well. We have another question here. It's from Coolio. What wide receiver is worth Bo Nix? Have love, need a receiver, literally would rather trade for a receiver and stream a QB, loves on a buy, than vice versa. So he's basically saying, look, if I had to trade Bo Nix and it's redraft, so he was telling us, it's redraft. So if he had to trade Bo Nix for a receiver right now, where would you be on that, Teixeira? Like, what would you take for Bo Nix in a trade for a wide receiver?
If you could just eat the week of like streaming a quarterback, like a Daniel Jones or like somebody and like have a pivot, just because after after, oh my gosh, when week 7 comes around, it's gonna be like Christmas Day because Rice is gonna be playing, I think, the Raiders. Oh man, is he gonna just absolutely blow up? Ask Bob. He's gonna destroy that team. He's gonna make them look silly. So if I could get Rashee Rice now, while the price is probably there, I mean, because also we don't know what kind of game he has against the Eagles here. Because if he has a bad game or slips up, it could tank his value a little bit from you trying to get up into a top 20 or top 15 or even 12 wide receiver for Bo Nix in a redraft. So I'm bold enough to take the gamble of moving Nix and streaming a quarterback to get Rashee Rice. If I don't have Rashee Rice on my roster, I am actively, vehemently pounding the table to try to find a way to get him on my team for the rest of the season. That would be my top target.
Yeah,
as far as other ones,
that's a great one.
I don't know. It's so hot and cold. Like, do you want to do it for Marvin Harrison Jr.? Do you want to do it for Brian Thomas Jr.? But like, those guys have been struggling. On paper, it looks like, yeah, a smash deal, but their performance has been saying otherwise. And I just don't know what other like wide receivers around that tier that you'd want to even pursue. I know Drake London's on a bye. That might be a good as far as like doing the same method with Rashee Rice, just eating it a week, dream, and then after that, you got yourself a wide receiver 1 for the rest of the season.
Considering it's redraft, and I'm going to assume it's one quarterback. I mean, just based off of the way he's talking about his league, and I'm almost 99% sure of that. I'll go get me Michael Pittman, get me Cortland Sutton. Oh, yeah. Maybe if I could get one of those type of guys, in a trade. Want to move like that, Coolio? I have no problems going for somebody like that in a 1-for-1 deal. So maybe try that. Like, I know you said you need a guy this week, right? So, I mean, I'd be willing to gamble on one of the guys. You could try. Worst they could say is no. I mean, the bad thing is in one quarterback, though, Noah's probably going to move a top tier receiver for a quarterback.
Yeah.
But you really got to scour around and see who maybe is weak at quarterback and is a little stronger at receiver. And our door's always open too, man. You can ask us, and we'd be glad to throw some suggestions out there. So,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. But I think them two guys would be perfect targets. Pittman, Sutton, for Bo Nix in a redraft 1 quarterback. I think that makes a ton of sense. But we'll go to the running back starts to share while we wait for more questions to filter in. Running back that you're going to be starting here in week 5, who do you have?
I'm going to give him some love. I mean, I haven't really liked this guy to begin with. He hasn't been on a lot of my rosters, and I've vehemently opposed this offense for the most part going into this season and all offseason. But I'm going to rock Devon Achane against Carolina Panthers. I think that with Tyreek Hill's injury happening and to say the least, the inconsistencies of the other receiving options there in Miami and just the fluctuation of Tua's performances, I think Miami playing off the win last week, try to keep the momentum rolling, keep this thing on the ground, and they just pound the rock with Devon Achane, and he feasts off of short dump offs and in the red zone. I don't see him having any challenge as far as opportunity competition. And I think overall his floor is probably 18 this week and a ceiling of 26, I'll say, if he gets in the end zone a couple times. Like, I can see him easily getting 100 yards this week against that Carolina defense.
Yeah, oh man, he is that offense right now, and he has to be, right? Like, now Tyreek's gone. It's going to be interesting to see how one of your foes, Jalen Waddle, does. We talked about this a little bit on the Dynasty DNA Deep Dive. I mean, we should see hyper targets coming his way, just processed by elimination. And can he provide maybe to be a dominant type guy? Like, you're going to have to really show us something now, right? If you're Jalen Waddle, I don't have the greatest faith, but you're right. Like, I just think this offense is going to run through Devon Achane. He's a must play. He is a must play. And I mean, really, look, I mean, if I am an all-in contender in a dynasty league, and I mean, right now he is a guy. Like, I don't love his outlook long term, but is he a guy like I'm willing to buy this year and just sell off in the offseason and restart again? Right? Like, if I can just get him for this season and then I can move him again, I like a move like that, and because he's just going to get a ton of points. He's just going to stay healthy, right? I mean, that's the big thing there. So
for draft capital, would you spend like a late first to get him?
Oh,
26?
easy.
Okay.
Easy. Yep, easy.
So
But let's
that's kind of like
go
the floor, that's like the bar. Like, what was the highest you'd spend on him with the idea of flipping him in the offseason?
I would definitely. I mean, at this point, I have a hard time seeing you getting them for anything less than like maybe even 2 firsts. Unfortunately, but 2026 isn't a class I like. If you have a pair of 26s, I don't hate that, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, the thing is, even if I make a lateral move, like if I'm a contender to make a lateral move, if I get him for 2 firsts, I feel really good about that. And it's like, I know I'm going to at least get that back. As long as you don't suffer some kind of devastating injury, I think at worst, I'm going to get that back later. And maybe you even you sell your 26 first for him and then get 27s back, right? Or something like that. So it's just, just a suggestion. My brain's always turning. It's like the clock. It's like the picture's the inside of a clock. It's like, we're going on and on. But I have a running back that I want to start this week, and this is a shout out to my friend Wiz, who's in the United States right now. I'm going to be starting Woody Marks going up against the Baltimore Ravens this week, and I'm going to tell you why. No Lamar Jackson. I just don't know, man. This Baltimore team looked deflated. It looked deflated against Kansas City. I know Houston's had its struggles, but you look at this Ravens defense, it's had its struggles too, man. It's just not been good. They've allowed the fifth most rushing yards, second most rushing touchdowns, and the fifth most receiving yards to running backs. And what does Woody Marks do, right? I don't see C.J. Stroud having a ton of time to throw the ball down the field. I think this is going to be a lot of check downy type stuff. I think this game script really plays well for Woody Marks. It's not that I think that he's just going to completely dice up the Ravens or anything like that. I just think he's going to get a lot of opportunities. I think he's going to get a lot of dump offs. And, I mean, he could score that fluke touchdown. If he scores that fluke touchdown, he could get to that 16, 18-point level this week, just based off the fact that I'm almost guaranteeing a floor of 10 points for Woody Marks this week. I'm almost guaranteeing it because, like, I think 3 catches is definitely doable against this Ravens team. I think that we're going to see, probably 40 to maybe 50 yards on the ground because of just how bad the Ravens rushing defense is. And then, like I said, then it just gets down to what does he have for receiving yards or does he get in the end zone, right? Like, I just think that, I've played. We know how it is to share. Bye weeks are here right now. Look, I'm not saying start Woody Marks over, one of the best running backs in the game or like something like that. Like, I'm not starting him over Jonathan Taylor, but like if I had a flex spot that was open, if I had a running back 2 spot that I was hurting at this week, and I'm like, man, I have a couple guys. Who should I play? Like, I just feel like I'm comfortable putting him in there at this point because I know that Houston offensive line is not the greatest, and I think that there's going to be an ability there to get a lot of dump down work for Woody Marks. And it seems like Nick Chubb is really starting to get placed on the back burner here just a little bit. Unfortunately, I mean, we kind of expected it, right? Like, I'm a fan of the guy. I'm a Steelers fan, and I still love Nick Chubb. I mean, the guy plays the game the way you need to play it, and it's unfortunate for him, but I think he's kind of hit the road here as far as his overall career's gone. But I'm going to go with Woody here. I think I got a floor of 10, and I got the ceiling of 18 going up against Wiz's Baltimore Ravens defense.
Oh, and if that happens, I think Wiz will be a mess after this weekend, especially after last week's fiasco with his teams.
Oh, he's almost broke right now. Like he is. I had to really
feel it.
Oh, I had to really talk to him and get him off the ledge a little bit. So I got him back. He's feeling better. Don't worry, Wiz. Like I told you, we got the same problem. We can fix it. We'll work it out. But Coolio says, "Go to blast off, boys. Got to deliver Coolio Jr. to Taekwondo. We'll watch the rest later. Cheers. Go Blue Jays." All right, that's for sure. Like I'm all about that. Like the Blue Jays haven't won in a while. I'll give you some love on that because my Pittsburgh Pirates don't do anything. Coolio. It's unfortunate. So we will cheer them on with you. I will give you support there. But let's go into the receivers and have a good night, Coolio. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Chat's open. Oh, he's a great dude. Chat's open to everyone that wants to post. Always love to talk to you guys. But to share a wide receiver start for week 5.
You got your jacket on you, DJ? You got it on hand? Because it's one of your guys. He's on the front of the patch. It's Michael Pittman Jr. against the Las Vegas Raiders at home. I am firing him up, and I am confident that Daniel Jones will get out of this. He had a tough matchup last week, He had his struggles, yes, that's understandable. The Rams aren't an easy defense to throw against, and I think how easy he'll be able to throw against the Las Vegas, throw it in bunches. I can see Michael Pittman Jr. finishing with at least one touchdown and 7 receptions. I can see it like a floor of 80 yards receiving with a ceiling of about 110. Translate that out. I think I got him a floor of 20 points and a ceiling of 27.
All right. I like the call out. I always love a Michael Pittman call out. And
Oh yeah.
right now, all the people that laughed about Michael Pittman.
I know. You need to just run just to go right down the line and just.
Yep, that's it. And Ty always said it. Like, I give Ty credit. Like, he talks about Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman. Like, they might have an off year every once in a while because mainly they're dealing with terrible quarterback play. But it's just like they always are capped and consistent. Like, they are like, I like Jacoby Myers too. They're like a step above Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is here, but it's like the reliable tier. That's what I call it. The reliable tier. The guys that you always
wide receivers. You got that here, and then right in the middle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. They're like the bread of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You need them. You need that foundation. And I think I'm like you, man. Daniel Jones was a little bit of a tougher matchup. He's going to bounce back. And I think that this offense, is really, and I said it, like the football team that has confidence is a big thing.
Well, if they can make Caleb Williams look good, I think Daniel Jones can look good against the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, I think so. As Bob said, everyone thrives playing the Raiders. So I'm going to sit here and go with my wide receiver. I'm going to be starting here in week 5. And this guy here, I'm really rooting for to get through the season completely healthy, right? He is the consummate wide receiver, too. It's going to be Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints going up against the New York Giants. Look, the Giants have given up the 4th most yards on deep passes this year. They are a little bit susceptible to the pass. I mean, we've seen the Cowboys really tear their secondary to shreds. Different people like that. So, look, I've never been a big Olave hater. It's just like whenever he come out his rookie year and everyone was saying he's a wide receiver 1. It's like, no, he's not. He's not a wide receiver 1. He's a wide receiver 2, and there's nothing wrong with that. He just is what he is. Now, he's dealt with a lot of unfortunate injury situations. But, look, I mean, the Bills can play with – or if the Saints can play with the Bills, they can play with anybody, right? They were in that game. They fought hard. They were competitive. And, I mean, this guy's just a guy that's almost a double-digit point game scorer every week. And, like, I think that there is going to be maybe a potential of a blow-up game at some point. I don't want to miss out on that. And I'm not afraid of the Giants' defense. Like, I'm not saying their front 7 ain't going to get after Spencer Rattler. I'm almost certain they will. But say the Giants even run away with this game, and I doubt that happens. But, like, you're going to have a ton of garbage time to Chris Olave, right? So, like, I'm okay with playing him. As long as he stays healthy, I think you're going to get 12 points. But this week, I'm going to say 18 for Chris Olave. I think he finds the end zone going up against the New York Giants. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Giants fare without Malik Neighbors. It really is. So what do you think about this game, Tessera? Look, I mean, Chris Olave, I believe, is like wide receiver 25 right now. I've got to give him props because so many people wrote him off for dead. I don't think it's a talent thing. It's an injury thing. It's a New Orleans Saint thing. But I think that he's going to be a guy that if he stays healthy, could be a wide receiver 2 almost every year, a guy that could finish, 16 to 24 regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. And with guys like that, they meet your expectations and they fill the role on your rosters. Like we realize he's not a wide receiver 1, so we're not expecting those ceiling wide receiver 1 boom games. We just need you, Chris Olave, to fill that spot in our lineups, get those 10 to 12 points each week, find yourself with about a handful of catches in the end zone, and we'll love you. We'll appreciate you. And stay healthy, because that's the most important thing. Because, like, I love my Ohio State wide receivers as much as I despise Ohio State. I do like the Ibuka, the JSN, the Marvin Harrison Jr., and Chris Olave. Like, and Garrett Wilson especially. Like, they just know how to get their wide receivers and put them out in the NFL. And I think if the Saints ever figure out the quarterback situation again, I think that Chris Olave could be solidly in that wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1 conversation again because he doesn't have to fight much with target competition. I mean, I'm not threatened by this Juwan Johnson resurgence project. Like, I don't feel confident like that he's the solution in the receiving room for those guys. And I think that Rashid Shaheed was his good story last year in that flash of the pan of like more of like a best ball DFS kind of play guy where you just want to get that big spark play and not really have the volume there. So I like Chris Olave against the Giants. I see this game being kind of a shootouty between the two quarterbacks wanting to wheel and deal and throw the ball around because they both have secondaries that I'm not really threatened by as far as receiving options. I think both sides have a good floor for fantasy points coming out of both those teams' wide receiver rooms. And I love the Chris Olave call out because, yeah, he does need to get more recognition and more appreciation for what he's able to do with what the opportunities he has.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll hope that we see the healthy season. Like, he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, and I'm glad to share, I'm glad. See, like, you come from where I come from, right? Like, so many people, like, I appreciate Ohio State fantasy assets. And everyone's like sitting there saying, oh, you love Ohio State.
Exactly.
It's like, just push them in. So, like, you and me are in the same boat there. And I do appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. So, we have Brian 7 here asking Henderson and Evans for Mason and Rice, PPR. I feel Rice is a less risk with being in a better offense and younger. Let me ask you this, Brian, really quickly. Is this redraft or dynasty?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, before we answer. If you drop that, we'll answer that for you, not a problem. Corey, injuries super suck this year. Yeah, they do, man. And, Teixeira.
The injury bug is just running a train on the whole league again.
It definitely is. Teixeira brought that up. John Gruden brought it up. Lack of practice time. Lack of preseason, man. There's consequences for this stuff. So as we wait what Brian has to say for his trade question, we will go into the tight end talk here to share a tight end that you're going to be starting here in week 5. Who do you have?
I like what I mentioned and talked about earlier when we had the question about Kyler Murray. So I like Trey McBride this week. I think he falls into the end zone once. I don't think it's going to be a big, boomy, fantastic type game of like him just absolutely shredding the Titans defense. I think this is more of one of those games where he gets in the end zone early, like first quarter, early second quarter, and then he gets peppered with his targets. I think he can get close to 10, if not 10 targets easily this weekend, about 8 or 9 receptions. And in a tight end premium league, that's a nice solid floor of 10 points for you there. And if he gets in the end zone, I see that him like with a floor of 18 points and probably a ceiling of 24, because if the volume doesn't go all the way on the side of Marvin Harrison Jr., I think Kyler Murray is going to want to trust himself with his arm and his legs more so than putting the game on one of these two backs that are coming into this game. And Trey McBride has been his safety blanket in the past. We've seen what he's able to accomplish with him. And I think this could be a big momentum swing for the Cardinals in their season if they can just get right, throw the ball well, and get those haters off of Kyler Murray, because he's hearing it from the fans. He's getting a lot of heat for his performances, rightfully so. So if he wants to, redeem himself and kind of quiet that noise, I think if he relies on Trey McBride this weekend to get it done, it should be a good weekend ahead.
Yeah, I love the call out. And, if he does get in the end zone, people will be freaking out because I think he's going to match his touchdown total already from last season. So people are like, wow, we're way ahead of the game right now for Trey McBride. And you're right. This offense is going to find itself a little bit more. And I have confidence in a Trey McBride rebound. And you almost got to play him. We talked a little bit earlier about Laporta. Some people getting a little spooked, feeling a little cold feet on him. This guy's still a talented player. Sometimes circumstances are out of their control. And my big adage is yes, if there's something obvious where I can make a lineup change, I'm going to do it. But lots of times it's I ride and die with my best players unless I have a reason not to, right? It's still early in the season. We're not too super late yet. Give me Trey McBride. I like that call out to Shara. Brian says redraft 14 team or so. He's going to be Travion Henderson and Mike Evans for Jordan Mason and Rice. PPR. Where are you at on that since it's redraft to share? Where are you going to play on that? Which side of the fence you're going to be on there?
Oh, man. This is a very close trade for me. This is very close because the time of the year I like to have Evans for my playoff run. Seeing him in my lineup, I'm breathing a sigh of relief. Okay, I got Evans. But he's more of the volatile asset in this deal for me because of the injury. It could linger out through the year and might cap his ceiling performances going forward. That's not to say he's going to have a terrible rest of the season or he's going to have a bad rest of the season by any means, but I just think that ceiling that we could see from playoff Mike not really manifest itself with a lingering injury and the emergence of Ibuka and Godwin coming back and Bucky Irvin when he's back, like those other mouths to feed in the Tampa Bay offense. So that being said, I'm still very high on Rashee Rice over Mike Evans. If I were to do a 1-for-1, I would take, even in a redraft, I would take Rashee Rice 9 times out of 10 over Mike Evans. And I mean, at the beginning of the year, I'm really high on Mason, but that offensive line is a major issue for the Vikings right now. They have multiple injuries. They have questionable marks of their center, if he's coming back or not. This weekend, they're starting a guy that hasn't played a snap at center before in his entire career. Right. So there's going to be some growing pains with the Vikings run game going forward, and having the injury to Aaron Jones still. That's putting a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on Mason to perform and to have a higher ceiling, which I don't see him capping or even getting higher than a Travion Henderson rest of season. So I'm really doing the trade-off here of, like, I want Rashee Rice over Evans, but I want Henderson over Mason. And the guy that I decide this deal that I want to go on more is the Rashee Rice Mason side of the deal, because I want Rashee Rice, and especially in a full PPR league, I want Rashee Rice. I want the player on the better offense with the better quarterback and the higher rest of season ceiling. I mean, I really like both sides of these trades, but for me, just personal bias overriding, I'll take the Rashee Rice Mason side. But I can see the argument. I can see why you'd want to take Evans for that consistency, that old reliability, and the emergence of Travion Henderson, because I think he's a very sneaky sleeper play this week against Buffalo. I think they could really utilize a spark and a change of pace and a surprise for that Patriots offense against the Bills that they might not see. They might think about it like, oh yeah, but they're not going to do it. They're not. It's the Patriots. They're not going to do it. But then I can see Mike Vrabel just pulling the card and being like, we're going for it.
Right. And the thing is, like, that is the big if, right? Like, does Travion Henderson have enough in him this year to super surpass Jordan Mason? Because I do agree. I think Rashee Rice, once he's back rolling and locked and loaded, is going to give you more than what Mike Evans is going to give you. Because look at all the mouths to feed in that Tampa Bay offense. And we know Patrick Mahomes loves to target Rashee Rice. They are sorely missing him right now. So I'm going to lean with you on this, Tessera. Jordan Mason's struggles are definitely offensive line related, no doubt about it. I do think that is an issue, but I also think it's quarterback struggles, because a lot of what I seen, and the Steelers couldn't stop a nosebleed, and a lot of what I seen was, the fact that they were not all that threatened by Carson Wentz. They put more guys up in the box. Yep. They expected the run. They knew they had to play the run a lot more than they had to play the pass. So, it's going to be crucial for the Vikings to get J.J. McCarthy back, and hopefully J.J. McCarthy can be what they hoped he was, right? So, I just think that at worst, I think this season, I'm going to gamble on the fact that I think Mason and Henderson will end up close as far as where they finish, and I think I'm going to be getting the better player in Rashee Rice for the long term. So I'm with you on that. I'm going to go with the Rashee Rice, Jordan Mason side by a hair in redraft. But that was a really good question there, Brian. Hopefully that works out for you. And, look, I say it a million times. You need a little bit of spark in redraft sometimes. And if you get a player like Rashee Rice and he comes back and he is that old Rashee Rice, man, this could really elevate your chances. So I agree. Let me go that route and see what I can do. So let's go over to my tight end that I'm going to be starting here in week 5.
Oh, I think I know.
Well, I could always say Jake Ferguson. I say it all the time. And the thing is, now he's tight end 1, so I can't keep saying it. Everyone's like, you can't keep saying Jake Ferguson. So always start Jake Ferguson, but I'm going to be starting Zach Ertz, because Jaden Daniels is back this week for the Washington Commanders. And, as we mentioned about Dak targeting Jake Ferguson, Jaden Daniels likes to target Zach Ertz. He loves this guy, old Mr. Reliable. I think that he's going to be a guy that could potentially maybe sneak in a touchdown there, but I think he's going to be a guy that has a safe floor. I think he could get you right around that 10-ish range. And look, we know that, Washington hasn't looked super explosive. I think they're going to keep a lot of this stuff right around that 15 to 20-yard box, and I think that, a player like Zach Ertz that could benefit. And I just see a lot of target volume going his way because of Jaden Daniels, the fact that he does like to target him. I believe no Terry McLaurin, right, Tessera? Is he out?
No McLaurin.
So, yeah, he's out. No McLaurin. You got Debo there, and who else, really, right? So I think this could be a Zach Ertz game. As Tessera said, I don't really Love this game from the high-end fantasy explosive options, especially on the Charger side. I'm a little hesitant, but I do think a game like this could benefit Zach Ertz. So I'm going to go with Zach Ertz here this week, and I feel pretty good about it. But as we wait more questions, let's go to the dreaded sits to share. The dreaded sit category for Week 5. Who do you have here is the quarterback that you're going to sit down for Week 5? Who are you pulling the plug on this week?
We talked about him earlier. I think that I am going to. This might be spicy. This might be hot based off the week he came from the week before. But I'm sitting Bo Nix against Philadelphia in Philadelphia. I just think that the replication of the performance, you're taking advantage of a Bengals defense. We all know what's possible when you play against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's just fair play and just let it loose, let it all hang out. And I think Sean Payton in that offense is going to be a little bit more conservative, a little less shot taking, and try to play this game close and try to win it. And I don't think it's going to be so much necessarily on Bo Nix's arms as much as it's going to be about his legs and that running game with J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. I don't got warm, fuzzy feelings about anybody going into Philadelphia and playing quarterback. It's just a real tall ask for to have it's not that I don't think he's going to be miserable and a bust. I just don't see a world where he has this high fantasy performance, like this 30-plus point game, or even like a 28 or a 25 point. I think it's more closer to that 16 to 18 range. And at that point, I want to pivot to somebody else like a Daniel Jones or someone with a better matchup.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing, right? I can't blame you at all for going this route because we talked about, and we said it about the Trevor Lawrence Bo Nix segment. I would not be surprised, if either of these guys ended up with that 16 to 18 point range. I think that's definitely something that could happen, right? So I don't blame you at all there to share. I think it's very logical, and I don't mind that sit down whatsoever. But we have a couple questions coming in here. Steven asks, fellas, I need 2 half PPR. Jordan Mason. We have T-Mac, Rico Dwaddle. So he needs 2 of the 3. He's got Uncle Rico. We got McMillan. And we have Jordan Mason. So you got to play 2 of them in a half-point PPR to share.
Man, I think I'm going to stick with Rico Dwaddle as my one. And I think I'm going to steer clear. I don't feel nice about it. I'm going to go T-Mac because I'm worried about that front 4 of the Cleveland Browns in London. We saw how sloppy the Vikings played against the Steelers, and I think that the Browns are going to stifle the run and take advantage of that inexperience at the offensive line of the Vikings, so that Mason's day could be a lot more capped than the other option here. So, I'll take Dowdle as a confidence play, and I'll just take the other one because I think that Jordan Mason's going to have a pretty tough sledding day against that Browns rush defense is for real. It's a seriously elite defensive unit.
Yeah, it's a tough nut to crack. If there's anything good that the Browns got going, it is on the defensive side of the ball, especially stopping the run, right? They've done it repeatedly against a lot better running backs than Jordan Mason. So, yeah, give me McMillan, give me Dwaddle for a lot of the same reasons Teixeira said. I know Dwaddle's a definite one if I had to pick in that group. He's one for sure I'm going to play there. McMillan's my second choice. And, look, one thing we know about Tet, I know it can be deflating, but it seems like he's a good 10 to 12-point guy no matter what usually. It just based off volume opportunity, he's getting that. So I think at worst you feel pretty safe there. So I don't mind that call out. And we have Noah asking here, BTJ or Judkins, ROS?
Oh. T, these are your guys. I'm going to leave this one to you first.
Come on. It's like picking children for me, man. Don't make me do this. These guys here, I send them Christmas presents every year. That's how much I love these guys. But, yep, Q is RB1 for you. Teixeira's got the sign. As everyone knows on the podcasting network, I have to do it. Give me Quinshon. I have to do it. The proof's in the pudding. I love me some Brian Thomas Jr.'s. There are going to be some days where the sailing's going to be a lot better. We're going to get on that ship and ride. And I'll be happily right there beside Brian Thomas Jr. because I always supported him. But Quinshawn right now, man, this guy's just an animal. He is a beast. I mean, you can rely on him each and every week. Look, I mean, we went up against the Sheriff's Lions, the Green Bay Packers, 20-point-ish type games against them defenses. Minnesota does not scare me at all. If Kenny Gainwell can drop about 100 on Minnesota, I mean, I'm sorry. Quinshawn's just going to be like a steamroller going through there. Give me Q. Is RB1 for you? Any difference in opinion there, Teixeira?
Not at all. I mean, this is so much beyond hype train on this network here. Quinshawn Judkins is a freight train, and he's coming your way, like the Metallica song says, and you better get out, because if he really impressed me out of these rookie running backs by doing this against these NFC North opponents, these tough, stout, just dominant front four from these teams, like doing it against the Lions and scoring a touchdown, and Packers, like you said, a touchdown, that holds more water and holds more value to me than picking on teams like the Titans or the Raiders or the and the Cardinals. These other defenses, like, oh, cute, you scored against them. That's great. Anybody can do it. But if you're doing and having these sort of performances without an off season, without a training camp, without these practices to get ready and do it, and just off raw talent and ability and just being able to function in that abysmal, just disorganized offense, speaks, like, if he was on such a better situation, imagine the ceiling he could have this year. It'd be friggin' phenomenal. It'd be like to the moon. But
that's what I said. That's what I said on the Triple Threat show to share. I told Mike, you put Q with the Chargers right now, he'd have like 50 points a game. No doubt about it. So I love that. I mean, we got to go with Quinshawn. The guy is just a machine, and I'm excited to see what he can do against that bad Minnesota rush defense from last week. Now, maybe they get the stuff together, play a little bit harder, but this is still Quinshawn Judkins we're talking about, and I just can't take him out of my lineup, not after what I've seen with the Lions and the Packers. But we have Beast of the East, 23. That's a tribute to Bam Bam Bigelow. I like that. Should I start A.J. Brown over Cortland Sutton or Pittman? Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. I'm starting Pittman and Sutton over A.J. Brown. Look, I know it's appetizing. I know it kills me. I have some A.J. Brown shares myself, right? What was that stat? What was that stat Slim said? Did they have like really any passing yards in the second half of that game against Tampa Bay?
They had a single one.
And I mean, it's just deflating, and it's frustrating. And I even get mad about it because I'm such an A.J. Brown fan. But I can't do it. I can't do it right now. Like, Sutton and Pittman are getting the opportunities. And you know what's funny? We talked about that. Sutton and Pittman are two guys, that have dealt with bad quarterback play, and sometimes that takes their levels down. But this year, they're up, and now you got a guy like A.J. Brown's down. It's unfortunate, but I figured you'd agree with me on that one to share, unfortunately.
Until they actually get a quarterback at the quarterback position and they actually decide to use their passing offense, like, I feel that, like, Devonta Smith, Goddard, and Brown are just avoidable if you can. Like, pivot to a Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman, pivot to like a Sutton or a Troutman. Like, those are much better options going forward because you at least know that you have like, we've shown the evidence. The Eagles have shown their hand. They're willing to not throw the ball at all in a half. And that is
the biggest. Yep. The biggest thing with start-sit stuff for me is trends and patterns, right? And like, we're seeing it. I mean, you might get an anomaly every once in a while, but I'm not betting on that. Adrian asked, was offered Pickens, Kyron, Hunter Henry for CMC, Kelsey, Franklin, and he gives us his team here. He's got Jalen Hurts, CMC, Marion Hampton, Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, QJ, Quentin Johnston. I get all these too many QJs. Yeah. Kelsey, Brees, Scatterboo, Bench, Bucky, Downs, Jennings, Olave, Franklin, White, Kendrick Miller. It's a good squad, Adrian. So I'm assuming this is Dynasty. If it's wrong, you can correct us on that. But he was offered Pickens, Kyron Williams, Hunter Henry for Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelsey, and Troy Franklin. Where are you at on that right now, Teixeira? What would you do in that situation? Because he's got a lot of nice players on this roster. Whose side would you take on that?
I like the younger assets on the Pickens-Kyron side because I think at this point I'm not sold on the whole Franklin emergence thing yet, and whether or not I want to hold him in that offense because I just I'm not really into any of those assets outside of Cortland Sutton as far as the receiving game goes. Kelsey, I'm at the point with him where I'm already got him on the boat in the lake, and I'm ready to fire the arrow that lights the funeral pyre for him and just send him off like a Viking funeral. I am so done with him, so I'm not phased by it. It's just to see. I think you're trading Pickens and Kyron with a little like sprinkling of Hunter Henry on top for CMC, so it's essentially a 3-for-1 to me as
Right.
far as dynasty goes because I think Hunter Henry still got. I think he's got at least one more year on that contract on that team. So you at least got one more year out of him. And then Ryan Williams, I don't know if what his situation is going to be like there at the Rams after this year. But, he's good for a couple touchdowns and a couple fumbles. So you got to take the good and the bad. He's getting the volume and the opportunities. And McVay's, having to trust him. I'm waiting for the Jarquez Hunter show to show up because
We need it.
we need the Rams need it badly. And Pickens, it's like kind of like Kyron in the sense of like you boom or busty. And I think with the aging asset of CMC, like how many more years he got on those legs, maybe 1, 2. I just like the upside of the two younger assets and taking the more reliable tight end at this point in the season. And give me Pickens, Kyron, and Hunter, and I'm willing to eat that bullet of giving up CMC at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Teixeira. Like, Kyron Williams, let me just say this. Like, he cost me $125 last night. He fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line. I was so upset because I had it won. I had the Rams money line. I was like, all you got to do is just fall right in the end zone, and he dropped the ball. But I'm telling you, you're right. He's someone we got to watch. I don't think he's as safe as many people are going to make it out. Like, I know he got paid, but we've seen Ramondre Stevenson get paid, and they bring people in, right? Like, this stuff happens. I'm not saying he's going to get totally supplanted either, but you're right. Like, I mean, and you look at the San Francisco 49ers overall, getting a lot of injuries right now across the board. Now, knock on wood, I hope CMC stays healthy the whole duration, but it just doesn't bode well for him overall when everyone else is out and he's, the main focal point and everyone knows it. So, I mean, as you said, maybe a year or two left. This is it for Kelsey. He's not coming back after this year. I mean, he doesn't look good.
I'm sorry. I know you he loves him dearly, but I did too at one point, and the patterns and the trends, it's over. It's over.
And I've never been a Franklin guy. If I could ship him off, I'm more than happy to do that. Basically, the way it breaks down to me is just look at it like this. You're getting George Pickens for Franklin. That's a steal. And you're getting Hunter Henry for Kelsey at this point. As you said, to share the better tight end, always solid. I mean, this guy's always a back-end tight end 1. And, I mean, we know Kelsey's going to be going out the door soon. And then CMC. Yeah, he is. CMC for Kyron Williams. I mean, CMC's the better back, no doubt. But by the time, like I said, maybe the time that even Kyron gets replaced, it's going to be an even swap. So, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Give me Kyron. Give me George Pickens. Give me Hunter Henry in that trade. And we have Mr. Shorts. Yeah, great question. We have Mr. Shorts asking here, would you trade Sutton for JSN? So, I mean, look, let me just say this. And if it's Dynasty, I'm definitely taking JSN. No doubts. 100%. Now, I doubt it is. It's probably redraft. But even in redraft, I'm taking JSN here. I love me some Cortland Sutton. But, I mean, I just trust JSN being more of a dominator year-round. And he still is that number 1 in that offense. Like, he looks the part to me. I love Cortland Sutton. I think he's one of the most underrated players that you can get year after year. But I just see more of a ceiling potential with JSN even this season. Man, he looks like a dominator when he's out there. I don't know if you have any difference in opinion, as far as I go here, Teixeira. But, I mean, look, in the redraft season, I think this could be closer than a lot of people think. But I just have a hard time not taking JSN here.
Like JSN a lot, but I'm really worried with capping his performances and what he's able to do in redraft. So, in a vacuum in redraft right now, and I need wins now, I like to lean Sutton for that stability and that floor. But JSN just provides that explosion, those bigger performances. For what Sutton's been able to do, I think JSN could do that even more. a whole nother tier. And
Yeah.
for Dynasty, this is a
Right.
smash. That's a bam. Like, I'm not even looking twice. I'm just hitting the button and taking JSN. But in redraft, Sutton has made trade close as like having him as your wide receiver 2, of just having that reliable 8 to 10 targets a game and the possibility of having multiple touchdowns. I know we haven't seen that from JSN this year, a multi-touchdown game, but it's well in his wheelhouse in his arsenal to be able to do that. So I like your take of JSN, and I probably lean that way, but I just want to make the argument that like Sutton is like making this close.
Oh.
Like his performances has like brought him into closing in on this tier. He's not there yet, but he's closing in on it if he keeps it up.
Well, see, like, and that's just it. Like, I consider this maybe close to a lateral move. Yeah. And when I'm making close to a lateral move, I'm going to go with the guy that I think has a little bit more ceiling potential. That's why I'm going more JSN in a redraft. Like, that's the only difference. But I do love Sutton. I just have a hard time turning away from JSN in a situation like that. And we have another one here up in Hey Guts. I love some of these names. Sorry if I butcher them. I'm trying to read my eyes. I gotta get my contacts in.
Great.
I gotta get my contacts in. But I love some of these names. They're awesome. But he says, evening, who to start at flex? Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, or Chase Brown? So this is a tough one here, Tessera. I'm going to let you answer this one first. So we got Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, Chase Brown at the flex position. Where are you at on this right now? Who are you pulling the trigger on out of them 3 guys to put in your flex?
My eyes, they burn from what I've seen from these guys this year. Like, looking at this, I'm like, these are my choices. But I'm still on the Chase Brown bandwagon. I'm still going behind him, and I'm thinking that if they're going to get something going, it's not going to be from Jake Browning's deep ball arm or the receiving game. It's going to be short dump offs, check downs out of the backfield, and just pounding the rock and trying to just slowly chisel at that iceberg that is the Lions front 4. And I think that volume and opportunity is going to trump out here at some point. And I think he's the most talented running back out of these 3 players still, even with their situations and whatnot, just raw talent and ability. I like what you can get out of Chase Brown. It just needs to translate on game day. It just needs to happen. And I'm willing to throw him in there this weekend over a Charbonnet playing the Buccaneers at home or Tony Pollard against the Cardinals. I want to go. I guess he's not really a stud this year, but like I still view him as a stud from last year. What he's shown me, what he's capable of doing in his ceilings. That I'm just going to keep rocking and rolling with him. As gross as this sounds.
It is hard. And look, I mean, I love Chase Brown, but I love Jamar Chase. I love T. Higgins. Like, it's not any of these assets' fault. It's this team. Yep. It's the defense. It's the offensive line, and the fact that Joe Burrow went out early in game 2 of the season. Like, we see this all the time. Like, it's almost every other year with Joe Burrow. But you're right, Tessera. Like, I look at Tony Pollard. This Tennessee offense is so feeble. Like, I mean, we kind of joke around about Cincinnati, but really, what's going? I mean, Tennessee, that is bad as bad gets. The offensive line is completely trashed there. And you look at Zach Charbonnet, I mean, a guy that I think is a good, solid between the tackles runner, but he's splitting time with Kenneth Walker. And I mean, I do think that he should get more opportunities, but that's why I'm going with you on this. Like, give me the guy that I think is the definite most talented guy out of these 3. If there's anyone that can maybe break a screen pass, or if there's anybody, that could get a touchdown, a long touchdown run, I like my chances better with Chase Brown, but this is a tough situation to be in. I feel for anyone in this scenario right here, but that is definitely a tough one. But we have Matt here asking, hey fellas, I'm in redraft, got offered Addison for Rachaad White. Should I accept? Yeah, in redraft, yeah. If I'm getting Addison, I take Addison, Matt. 100%. Yep, that is a great move. I think you're going to do well there. And we have Noah here asking, Chiga Okonkwo or Nick Westbrook-Akini, ROS 24-man league. So we have Chiga Okonkwo or Nick Westbrook-Akini. So I believe Westbrook-Akini found himself down in Miami. That's where he's at currently, right?
Yep.
I'm just trying to refresh my brain. So I can see people trying to make a case for him now with the Tyreek injury. But look, I'm going to tell you right now, this Carolina Panthers defense, I mean, look, it's not great, but they are stopping quarterbacks. They are. I mean,
It's the quarterback.
I mean, they definitely. So, like, Tua's not fared well overall. So, like, I'm just going to go Chig here. Like, this is another one where it's a tough situation. I just hope maybe, that he can get a couple dump-off passes to get you enough points to get you where he needs to get you to, Noah. I mean, this is really rough. So, if I had to pick one, if someone said, oh, you got to pick one, I'm going to pick Chig. I don't know where you're at there, Teixeira.
I'm still with Chig because if Cam Ward is ever able to figure it out and get something clicking, I think it's at the tight end position, and I think Chig still has that role for now, and we've seen what he's been able to do and provide at the tight end position in the past, and I just like his upside and his ability to break a play over Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and it just caters off the back of my point earlier with the Devon Achane start for the running backs, as I feel like this is just going to be a run-heavy gross type of game script for both teams, and I don't see a ceiling for Westbrook-Ikhine even rest of season long term, because I think Malik Washington is the guy there that you want to have in that wide receiver room as far as the Dolphins, just based off throwing a dart, really truly a dart on somebody, and I'd rather put my chips in on him than Westbrook-Ikhine. And yeah, it's kind of tough, but you got to go with the guy that's proven it before, and with the situation that it is.
Well, it's a process by elimination too, right? Like, well, I'm going to say this is my final piece on this. What's the one thing that Westbrook-Ikhine did best last year that merited even starting him? The long ball, the deep ball, the long play. Mm-hmm. That's something that Tua doesn't do anyhow very well. So, like, it isn't a really good marriage to me. I'm not saying maybe something fluky couldn't happen. It absolutely could, but I think I just stick with the Flora Chig there. We got Dustin asking, what's up, fellas? Pick 2 for flex. We have Michael Pittman, J.K. Dobbins, Woody Marks, Michael Carter, DeMarcado, full PPR. Thanks. So he needs 2 for the flex. I'm going to say him again, Teixeira, Michael Pittman, J.K. Dobbins, Woody Marks, Michael Carter, DeMarcado. You got to pick 2. Who do you have?
I'll take Michael Pittman as a smash, and then I will go with the hot hand. I'll go Dobbins and think that maybe he can break one on this Philadelphia defense. I'm just like, the jury's still out on those other 3 guys. Like, I need to see it more. I need to have more data, more like evidence to warrant me throwing and trusting those guys in my lineups going forward, even in at the flex position.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Pittman's a smash. 100% he's getting in my lineup there with them group of players. But I'm going to go Woody Marks. I'm telling you, man, it's like Woody Woodpecker. I'm feeling it right now, Woody Marks. So, I mean, hey, I love me some J.K. Dobbins. I just think the matchup's going to be very tough. I think the Eagles are going to try to take that away and try to make the Broncos play a game that they don't want to play. And we know that Harvey is more of the pass catcher. So, like, you really ain't going to get bailed out much, maybe even from pass catching with Dobbins. Mm-hmm. So I have to lean Marks, but I could see a world where they both get close to the same points, right? I think that's entirely possible. But Michael Pittman, for sure, Dustin, is one you got to, I think, put in there over the rest of them guys. And until I see this Arizona backfield play out, I don't trust it. I don't really trust it anyhow now that James Conner's gone. But, like, we got to see what even happens there 100% the way they're going to approach it before I can put a game on the line, right? So, like, you got some guys, like, I would rather play any of them guys over them Arizona guys at this point until I see it. I just don't know if I can trust that. But as we wait, more questions come in. We got to come back to me. My quarterback sit. I brought him up. I'm going to go supersonic speed. And we'll be like this. We're going fast this year. A 2-minute drill. Here we go. Tua Tagovailoa on the bench for me this week. Look, I mean, it just isn't good. This whole season hasn't been good. I know people might look at the Panthers, and this is why I wanted to bring it up, and say, oh, it's Carolina. Maybe there's a chance. Well, they are playing quarterbacks very tough. That's what we said. That's one thing that they are doing. They're not giving up a ton of fantasy points to quarterbacks. I just don't think there's going to be any kind of an opportunity to rebound here. So he's just a guy I can't play this week. He's down at the very bottom of my list. And that's hard to say because, like I said, you just look on paper and the perception of maybe knowing football, like, oh, well, it's going up against the Panthers. It should be okay. I think it's maybe sort of slow it down just a little bit. I'm not going to play Tua in a game like this quite yet. But let's go into the running backs to share a running back that you're going to be sitting down here for week 5. Who's going to be riding the pine?
Yeah, I went over it earlier tonight about just the situation, the quarterback. The don't think that the defense is going to be threatened by that, and it's going to be a stacked boxes all day for them. It's an international game again, and I just don't think that it's going to bode well. It's going to be a sloppy, low-scoring game, a very just gritty, dirty game, and I'm it pains me. I'm sitting Jordan Mason. I just the recipe, it's not the player's talent or ability. It's just or his opportunity or volume. I think it's just the situation. You got a struggling passing game that's not threatening the defense or getting the ball, getting them to space out and give them more opportunity to work in the running game. And I think having that new, fresh center playing that center position on that old line, I think they're going to pick on him and stuff the middle of that offensive line, and it's not going to bode well to him getting around the edges or break something happen. So unfortunately, sitting Jordan Mason.
I know it kills you. It kills me too. I like Jordan Mason. It is tough. But as we know, the Browns, if they do one thing and do it well, it's stopping the run. And we've seen it. And again, I think a lot of this is going to fall back on Minnesota's quarterback situation right now. I think it's not all just on the offensive line. I do think that's a big part of it. Don't get me wrong. But whenever you're not threatened by the pass as well, that hurts running backs. It just does. I mean, everyone wants to take away the easiest things on the field when you're in a bad spot like that. But let's go over to the running back that I'm going to be sitting down here for week 5. It's a guy that I said sell all last offseason, Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Giving my friend Tessera a shout-out on this. He's saying Brashad Smith's going to be getting more involved. Indeed, I mean, he was second target in running backs. Pacheco was behind Brashad Smith. He only got half as many carries as Kareem Hunt did. This just smells like, to me, this is just some kind of big mess right at the minute. I just don't think that Pacheco is a guy that's going to hold on super long term. I mean, look, Kareem Hunt, advanced age, if he's getting more opportunities than you are, and then you got a rookie, flashy guy that can catch passes a little bit better than you can as well, with more high athletic upside, it's not smelling good for Isaiah Pacheco. He's going to probably be a better asset for the Chiefs than he will be a fantasy asset. Hopefully you guys sold him. But do you agree with me there, Tessera?
Yep, I do. That's going to go through some changes and some evolution here, and Pacheco is going to be the odd man out, I feel, very soon. I feel like that clock is going to strike midnight faster than what we were expecting and anticipating in the Dynasty community. And as hard as it already has been to try to offload him, I think that door is closed. I think it's just going to be a roster clog, a bench spot, because I don't think you can drop him. I mean, he's healthy. He's but it's just the days of what you think Pacheco is going to be or could do are, I think, well and gone now. I think the writing's on the wall, and I think what better way to showcase a new running back and get a new guy involved than against defense.
Yep, 100%. Let's cruise into the receiver pool. We got a nice little break here from the question audience, so we're going to be cruising into the...
Well, we did have one if you stayed with your woodpecker guy that you like. We got from Up the Guts. He has he's 1-3 weak at running back. He has Jefferson, Sutton, Ibuka, waiting on Rice as my wide receiver. I love that. He was offered a trade, Ibuka and Pollard, for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Woody Marks. Is this good or bad for him? What do you think?
Well, I mean, so he's going to be getting, which side is he? So he's going to be getting Marvin Harrison and Woody Marks, right? Is that what he's getting here?
Shipping off Ibuka and Pollard.
I think I do it. I think I take Marvin Harrison, and I think I take Woody Marks. I love Emeka Ibuka, but this offense isn't fully loaded yet in Tampa Bay. We got to see what it's like when everybody's back, and I do think that Emeka Ibuka is going to be a solid, good piece, no doubt, but I just don't see a huge amount of daylight between him and Marvin Harrison, worst case scenario. And I'm done with Tony Pollard.
I really see this as a trade. You're trading Ibuka.
Right. Ibuka, for Marks and Harrison. Yeah, like I agree. So I mean, I lean that way a little bit, but I couldn't blame anybody for holding on to Ibuka. But I think I would go for the double hit there with both players, just to get Tony Pollard off my roster too. That'd be great. That's never a bad thing. But let's go into our wide receiver sits here for Week 5. Tessera, who are you sitting down for Week 5?
Alarm bells are ringing and sirens are going. I am done. DONE capital done with this wide receiver room for the Philadelphia Eagles. I am out. I'm out. I'll be the first one to cash out on the network. I'm done. I'm over it. And I'm sitting Devonta Smith. I just don't. If you're going to tell me there's a chance, a non-0% chance that there's going to be no passing attempts at any point in a game, I love the talent and I love the ability. I hate the situation for the man. I feel like if he was on a better situation, he'd flourish and flirt with those low-end wide receiver 1 numbers, high-end elite wide receiver 2 numbers, and be a set it and forget it player in your lineups. But this year is not the year, and this team is not the team for him. I think he needs to, as much as Dicey Dog Mike loves him and the player and loves to be him, for us as fantasy managers and fantasy players, we gotta hate this man. Like, we gotta hate this for him. Like, this is just abysmal season for him. I had higher hopes, higher expectations for him going into this year, and countless times I'm just looking at my lineups and I'm seeing him there, and every single time I'm like, I can't start him over these other options because it's not working, and it's not him, it's his situation, and that pains me. But I have to sit him against Denver because I think, oddly enough, I think he's going to get the shadow from Patrick Surtain, and I don't think he's going to shadow AJ Brown in this weekend. So I think it's just be tough sledding, and it's going to be a bustable performance for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm with you, Tessera. It's definitely looking that way, and I'm not starting on any of these Eagles receivers until further notice, right? Like, I mean, if it's like the best you have, I don't mind you having to play them because I know some people are in that situation. Yeah. But if I have anyone else, I'm definitely making the move going to someone else. I agree. But Hakuna Matata 69 has a question here. I got an offer for JSN and Woody Marks for Jonathan Taylor. I also have Brees and CMC. My other receivers include A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, and Ricky Pearsall. Thoughts? So he would be acquiring JSN and Woody Marks for Jonathan Taylor. So I don't know where you would be at on this as far as which side you would take in this deal, Tessera. I mean, would you go with the JSN Woody Marks side, or would you go with the Jonathan Taylor side? Seeing his roster.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. We really like JSN. I'm not entirely sold yet on Woody Marks, but he has Brees Hall and CMC as his other running backs, so you might be able to sway me and feel inclined to make this offer, even though I really don't like the idea of giving up Jonathan Taylor. I would prefer if it was CMC instead, but
yeah, so he's getting Jonathan Taylor. So
he's getting?
Yeah, he's getting Jonathan Taylor.
All right, I read that wrong. Okay. If that's the case, I will take Jonathan Taylor 9 times out of 10 over JSN. I'm not fazed by the Woody Marks part of it yet. Like, this is a 1-for-1 for me, and I'd take Jonathan Taylor, the elite running back at that position, over JSN.
Okay, so this is very close. But like, I see his team, it just, man, I know what you're saying. It's appetizing, but like, you are a Brees Hall believer, Tessera.
Yes.
And I do like him too. I'm not giving up on him long term, but it's got to be hard right now, seeing where he's at with his running backs. But like, if you give up JSN, your receivers are A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave. Like, there's no impactful number 1 guys.
Yeah.
Right. That's what kills me, right? Like, I don't think I could do that. Like, that's a solid room, but them are the like Zay Flowers. I like. I mean, he's solid, but he's streaky as heck. AJ Brown. We talked about it with this Philadelphia offense. He should have been the one. Like, if everything was going right, he's got a one, but it's just not going right. Then you have Olave. We talked about solid wide receiver too. Pearsall. a guy that's plagued by injuries. The San Francisco team's hit or miss. I just think that I keep Woody Marks in JSN. It's enticing. Jonathan Taylor definitely could be a league-winning type player, but I just think that if Breece Hall can have a bounce back, you have CMC. I think you're loaded enough there, and Woody Marks is a flexible guy. So, I mean, I don't.
TJ, if this was 2 weeks down the road and we've seen more Woody Marks, and I'd be able to see okay, I can see some proof in the pudding here. I can see some potential here. Then I would lean on keeping JSN and Woody. It's just right now where things are at, I'm hyper focused on Jonathan Taylor and what he can do for my lineups. And a couple of weeks down the road, if I see it from Woody Marks, I'd be more swayed to hold on to JSN and Woody.
It's not even so much Woody. It's just the way his wide receiver room's built for me.
Yeah.
And my thing is just Woody's an extra piece that's getting points right now, right? That's the only difference in opinion I have. So you're going to go Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to stick with JSN and Woody Marks. It is enticing. It's definitely a fair offer. I don't think it's insulting by any means, but I just don't think I could trust that wide receiver core to be good enough to get me where I want to go. My experience is all my teams that I win with a lot, I have to have an Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have to have a JSN. I have to have, one of these guys that can get me the points and I can build around them from there. So it's a good question. That was really good. So you and I were split on that. I really don't think there's a wrong answer. It's just, you just got to...
Your perspective on what you see and what you feel, how you want to build your roster.
Yeah, and you just got to hope, man, because, the only bad thing is trading 2 for 1, God forbid if something happens to Jonathan Taylor, then, that could ruin your whole season, too. And running backs scare me with injury stuff. It's just so much easier for them to go down, and that is unfortunate. But we got to go back over... And I believe I was on my wide receiver here that I'm going to be sitting down here for week 5. It's going to be a guy that just come back, and I do believe, and I think he's going to get better, but just not right now, right this second. It's going to be Chris Godwin going up against the Seattle Seahawks this week. The Seahawks defense has allowed the 3rd fewest fantasy points per game to receivers and the fewest yards to receivers lined up out wide. Look, we know Ibuka's been a guy they like to play in the slot. They like to move around a bunch. Chris Godwin being that old head, being the elder statesman, the guy that's, coming back off the injury list. I think they're just trying to keep him comfortable right now. And this Seattle defense is for real, man. I got to see them play the Steelers, and, I liked what I seen. They were even down Witherspoon in that game, and they still did a good job on the outside. So it's just going to take time. I'm going to say this. I like Chris Godwin, but it's going to take time to put him back in my lineups and feel totally comfortable with it. If we're talking 6-7 weeks from now, maybe I have a different feeling on that, but the matchup's tough, and I just don't know if I can start a guy coming back from injury against a team like that right away. So we got to go into the tight ends, TESSERJA. Hopping into the tight ends here. We're going to come over to you, tight end that you're going to be sitting down for week 5. Who is it?
I am not taking a bite of the apple, and I'm not having a piece of this pie. It was a nice, cute comeback story from Darren Waller last week. I think he caught a lot of teams off guard. I think they caught a shock value of, oh, wow, this guy can still ball. But no. What you see with the Carolina defense all year long, they're shutting down quarterbacks and receiving options. That's their bread and butter. That's what they're specializing in on defense. And I don't see a 2-touchdown type game from Darren Waller again, even though he's playing the Panthers. But the matchup, I think they're going to be game planning around him. They're going to know Tyreek's out. They're going to know that Tua is limited in his deep ball and what he's able to do in throwing the football around. And I think that the part of what they're going to be planning around is to contain Darren Waller and letting him get loose in the red zone area and being able to find those soft spots in the defense to kind of burn him. He's looks like he's capable and physically able to do so, but I just think that I don't see lightning striking twice here.
What was it, 2 catches for 2 touchdowns or something like that? That's almost like Powerball odds for Darren Waller. So,
a lottery ticket.
Oh yeah, 100%. But TESSERJA, you do have that Dolphins color scheme going on there. I don't know if it's more blue orange, but it's kind of like that teal orange. But yeah, I'm with you. the thing is with Darren Waller, I don't think he's a bad stream play if you feel confident if Miami's going to move the ball enough. Like if they come up against a team like the Jets, I don't mind streaming them for a touchdown maybe, but it's just not this week. Like we talked, it is going to be tough going up against Carolina. I'm not all about that noise. Hakuna Matata 69 says the guy is also shopping Jamar Chase. What would be a good trade piece if I decide to risk that? Well, let me just say this, Hakuna Matata. This is a guy that can make a difference long term. I mean, it's going to stink a little bit this year, no doubt about it, but this is the kind of dynasty cornerstone piece that if you can take advantage of it, I'm definitely going to go that route. Now, I don't know if this is redraft or if this is dynasty, but any kind of dynasty league, if I'm going to get a discount on Jamar Chase, I'm taking it. I don't know as far as if it is dynasty, what kind of draft capital you have. I'm obviously going to be okay with throwing some firsts at that. And even if you had to include some of your secondary receivers, like if Zay Flowers has to be included in a deal like that, or Chris Olave has to be included in a deal like that, maybe that's something you can do. So if you want to let us know if it's redraft or if it's dynasty for sure, maybe we can hit you with a different perspective. But I think that, that's a route I would go in a dynasty league for sure if I was looking to acquire, a guy like Jamar Chase. But as we wait, my tight end that I'm going to be sitting for week 5, it's another Minnesota Viking. It kills me. TJ Hawkinson and the Minnesota Vikings going up against the Cleveland Browns defense. Allowed the 4th fewest yards to tight ends this season Cleveland has. Not only are they stopping the run, they stopping the tight end too. Jordan Addison is back. He is a guy that, can get in the slot, can move around, do different things. I think that can hinder TJ Hawkinson a little bit. I mean, what kind of personnel are they going to be using? It's just a process by elimination. How many mouths can you feed? And you got a good defense in the Cleveland Browns, and you got Carson Wentz. That's just not a good combination to me. And Hakuna Matata says redraft. Yeah, redraft, I mean, hey, if you want to try a 2-for-1er, I mean, maybe you could do that. I don't mind that in hopes that Chase has a rebound. I think the Browning experiment in Cincinnati is going to come to an end soon. Maybe they try to bring somebody else in, give somebody else a kick at the can. But, I mean, if you want to risk it, I don't mind maybe throwing an Olave and maybe like a Woody Marks or someone like that, maybe just to see, right? Like maybe you could try that. I'm not going to get super overpaid, though, in redraft for Jamar Chase just based off where the Bengals offense is right now. I don't know if you have any difference in opinion there, Teixeira.
No, I'll just elaborate on it. Like, this is the perfect example of what you do when you take advantage of these surprise big performances from players for a week or two, and you showcase them in front of somebody who's got a struggling elite asset. Like, for example, like a Travis Etienne and maybe a lower tier wide receiver. You take advantage of the season he's kind of having, and like a Travis Etienne and Olave or Flowers or like a type of receiver in that tier, and offer it up to the Jamar Chase owner, because that's the way I think. If I'm the Chase owner, I'd be willing to come off of him. It's like, I need to see proof I need to see something from what I'm getting back. I can't buy in on a what if when I know what I got with Chase when he's hot and when he can perform. I need to know that I have this potential of a ceiling of a player when I get him, that if Chase were to go off when I don't have it eases the sting of it, because
right,
when you're tearing off from like those cornerstone players, even redraft, you're really playing too much risk if you're just going off of like personal biases or preferences of players you like better. I think you really got to go with a win now, and you got to put those players in the deal that are putting up points that you're getting back.
Yeah, absolutely, Dustin. No, we answered your question unless it's something I missed. We said in your question you asked about pick 2 for flex. I said Pittman and Woody Marks. Teixeira said Pittman and J.K. Dobbins. So don't trust the errors. Yeah. If there was something else we missed, you can let us know. But that's where we're going. You can ask anything anytime. Sometimes something might slip through the cracks, but I know we answered that one. So I'm going Pittman and Woody Marks. Teixeira's going Pittman and Dobbins.
Yep.
Just don't trust the Arizona backfield right now. We have Curly-Headed Fox asking, what's up, boys? Should I start Kyler or Daniel Jones this weekend? So this one's interesting because, Daniel Jones is a guy that's just been balling. Where are you at with Kyler or Daniel Jones this weekend to share? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I know I was praising Kyler Murray and giving him his flowers of having a redemption tour this weekend against the Tennessee Titans, but you low-hanging fruit. You got to take it while you can get it, and I'm going to stick with Daniel Jones this weekend at home, playing against the Raiders. I think inside his own territory, coming off that bad game against the Rams, he'll probably vulture one touchdown from Jonathan Taylor on the ground, and then he'll be throwing it all over the place to Michael Pittman. I just love the higher ceiling that Daniel Jones could provide with both his legs and his arms than
Kyler Murray
will do against the. Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. Give me Daniel Jones. I can't turn away from him either. And it's kind of like the mini tush push. He gets those two when they get down there. I mean, that's great. That's great fantasy points. As Teixeira said, the running ability. We're seeing him run around more than what we're seeing Kyler Murray run around more. And, there are some legitimate weapons on this team. Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, like guys he can facilitate too. So I kind of agree. Like I could see them maybe being very similar this week as far as where they finish. But I do think there's a little bit more ceiling opportunity there with Daniel Jones. We have Lloyd Gaming here asking, would you trade away Achane plus Diggs for Jawan Johnson, Ashton Jenney, and Pollard? Low on depth. So he's going to be trading away Achane and Diggs for Jawan Johnson, Ashton Jenney, and Tony Pollard. I'm going to say no. I'm going to keep Achane and Stephon Diggs. I don't know how you feel about this to share any difference in opinion.
None at all. I'm in the same. I'm out on Jawan Johnson. I'm not on the Genty camp side of things still. I'm not swimming in that pool. And we talked about Pollard earlier, where we're at with him. Even being low on depth, I'm not willing to invest a player like Achane and Diggs for a Pollard.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And you maybe get creative. Lloyd, go out there and see what's out there, right? Like maybe just knock on some doors. I mean, for an Achane right now, he's kind of a season-winning piece. If he's healthy, he's got that kind of upside. So maybe you can get a little better than that. It's never hurting to ask, but I just couldn't trade him for that. I don't trust Jawan Johnson long-term, and as Teixeira said, Tony Pollard is a guy I just really want no part of it all in that putrid Tennessee Titan offense. But let's go over to the Dabble Fantasy start and sit of the week. Teixeira, Dabble Fantasy sponsors Dynasty DNA, new high up-and-coming daily fantasy app. Use the promo code DNA4, and as a first-time user, they'll give you a free $10 in free play. And it's great, man. Why not? Get a free $10 kick at the can on something over there, some kind of DFS contest on Dabble Fantasy using that promo code DNA4. But your Dabble Fantasy start of the week, Teixeira. Who are you brewing up for us?
I'm dabbling with Garrett Wilson against the Dallas Cowboys. Justin Fields is coming back this week, fully recovered and ready to go, and I think they're going to be throwing the ball all over the place. We saw Jordan Love do it against them. We saw Caleb Williams do it against them. Cowboys secondary is suspect, and it's easy to pick on, and you want to take advantage of it. Garrett Wilson is a stud. He is a receiver you want to have in your lineups this week. I have a ceiling of 28 points for him, multiple touchdown game, and a floor of 8 catches for 100 yards. I think he's going to blow up this week against that Dallas D, and he's really going to punch him in the mouth, and you don't want to miss out on fitting him in your lineup.
Okay, I like the call out. And picking on Dallas, Big Bob could appreciate that, Teixeira, no doubt about it. But I got to go for my Dabble start of the week. I could really say any Detroit Lion, but give me David Montgomery going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, I think this game script is really going to play well for Montgomery. I'm not saying Gibbs isn't going to get points. No doubt he's going to get his, 100%. But I do think Montgomery late in the game, if Detroit runs the score up, I think we can see a heavy dose of David Montgomery, tough between the tackles. And I definitely could see him flying in the paint for sure one time. Like, I feel confident for an anytime David Montgomery touchdown, maybe 2 this week. I feel really good about that. So I will start any Detroit Lion going up against Cincinnati for sure. Before we go into the Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week, we have Steven asking, Justin Fields or Jaden Daniels? Well, let me just say this. I am not a Justin Fields fan. But going up against the lowly Dallas Cowboys defense right now, I just feel better about throwing him out there, running around. He does have Brees Hall. He does have Garrett Wilson. I think that he's at least a lock for 20-ish type points in this game. And yeah, like I love Jaden Daniels, and like sometimes you're going to make these tough decisions, but this could be a little low scoring, like we talked to Commanders and Chargers, and he is coming off injury. You could be a little bit rusty. So go ahead and give me Justin Fields here. I know, Teixeira, that you probably have to agree with me since Garrett Wilson's your Dabble Fantasy Start of the Week. Am I right?
You are correct, TJ. I am a fan of Justin Fields this week against the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's just going to be more of like a low scoring, like we talked about this Chargers Commanders game. I don't see it going to be a shootout or a scoring fest. I think that the Commanders will play it smart and not leave Daniels out there to be exposed and to take risks. And he'll probably won't be as mobile as we think he will be with that knee. I think it's more pocket passing. He's going to rely on your tight end pick of the week, Zach Ertz, to stretch the field and keep things a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. His deep ball threat of Terry McLaurin is missing. Noah Brown is also missing, who's always available for a big play. And I think that there's a lot of more limitations to that play calling in the playbook this weekend for Daniels than I do with Fields.
Okay, I like it. So, got another question from Mr. Nice Guy. What's up, y'all? Full PPR. Pick 3. We have Thornton, Slayton, Devontae Smith, or Jalen Tolbert. Now, let me just say this. The fact that Smith's on this list has shown you how far this Eagles passing game has fallen down the cliff. I mean, it's unfortunate. So, Teixeira, I'll turn this over to you. It's unfortunate, but who would you consider? You got to pick 3 there. Who are you going to go with?
I am going Slayton as my 1. I'm going to take, man.
Okay, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go Slayton. I'm going to go Thornton, and I got to play Smith over Tolbert. I'm just not a Tolbert guy. Yeah. I mean, I just think that, look, Jake Ferguson, George Pickens, there's still enough there to really make him insignificant. I think with Devonta Smith, it hasn't been good, but you got to really hope that you get something. I mean, you're drafting him to be something. So I definitely am starting Slayton and Thornton, and I do go Smith over Tolbert and just roll the dice and see what happens there. I don't know if you have any difference in it. You matching me on that?
Yeah, I'm matching you because I feel this is one of those rare scenarios where you're just looking at it like I gotta play Smith here. Like I know logically I shouldn't, but like I'm not gonna trust Tolbert to outscore Smith. Right. I don't think that's going to happen. So,
and there's always the hope that Smith catches a small one and busts it. You know, like there's always that hope too. So yeah, give me those guys. We have Pareko asking, considering offering BTJ and Walker for Rice and JCM, is that too much? I'm 4-0. So he will be offering BTJ and Walker for Rice and JCM. I'm assuming this is redraft for Pareko here. Mm-hmm. Teixeira, if it is redraft, what side you going with on a redraft?
Boom! Give me Rice. I know it's been hard for BTJ, and Walker's been spotty and suspect and like hot and cold primarily. I think I'll manage with the JCM what he can provide for me, the floor of what he's able to do, but I absolutely want that blasted through ceiling of what Rice can bring to me for my championship push. You're 4-0. You're looking to solidify that championship run and win it all, and adding Rice to your lineup, it's just going to make it very scary for teams going up against you in the playoffs and the championships. They see Rice on your team on the other side. So I'm going to go Rice and JSCM.
Okay, I'm with you on this. I mean, especially in a redraft setting, like I said, I do love BTJ, and I do love, as far as like his upside, I don't love Kenneth Walker. We all know that. Like, I mean, you just know how I feel. So, like, I would gladly trade him for JCM, but yeah, I do think that Rashee Rice, it is definitely a gamble, but it's a gamble I'm willing to take, as you said, to share. Look, I like Brian Thomas. It's just not going to happen this year. He's a better dynasty asset for sure, way better dynasty asset than what you're looking at redraft right now. Ellis says, hey, what's up, guys? Have a trade question? No problem, man. You just drop her in there, and we will definitely answer that for you, and we'll go from there. But definitely drop that in there when you get a chance, and we'll continue on with our Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week, Teixeira. Who's your Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week as we wait our trade question?
My Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week is going to be Dalton Kincaid versus the New England Patriots. I know it's kind of, a little bit of heat on that one, but I just I think that this is going to be a game where Kincaid doesn't have a ceiling, and I don't see him finding the end zone. I think this could be a sneaky Khalil Shakir game, big breakout, like a multi-touchdown game for him, or it's the Josh Allen, James Cook running all over the place show. So that being said, I have 5, 6 other tight ends I'd want to start and play over Dalton Kincaid if you absolutely have to. I get it, but I don't like it this week. I don't like what is cooking for him, and I don't like what upside that he could have, but is realistically not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I mean, I don't blame you one bit there. I like the call out. And, Wiz somewhere is probably upset right now, but he can be a streaky player, right? And, it's hard to keep doing this at tight end for a lot of different players. And, I love the Khalil Shakir call. You know how I feel about Khalil Shakir. Yeah. He's almost up there with that Jacoby Myers level for me. I mean, we're kind of getting there. But
he's getting the sandwich. He's on the
That's
plate.
Right. He's almost in the jacket club. He's getting close. Pareko says, my receivers are Puka, Olave, and Godwin, and my other running backs are Bucky, Pollard, Henderson, and Harvey. And yes, redraft. So, yeah, no problem. I mean, redraft, yeah. I do think I'm going to make that trade and go ahead and gamble. And we talked about it. Rashee Rice, I mean, yes, it could be a bust, but it could be a league winner. And Brian Thomas, it's unfortunate. But, I mean, what is he, wide receiver 40 right now because of Jacksonville's offense? I don't think that it's going to haunt you too much by moving on. I really don't. Mm-hmm. And I do think it'll get better for Brian Thomas down the stretch. We have Ellison here. If you go want to ask a trade question, go ahead. We'll answer it for you. Yeah, right here it is. Okay, so I'm 1-3, but someone offered me JSN and Rashee Rice for Woody Marks and Ibuka and Deebo Samuel. I'm pretty covered at running back. Jenny, Kenneth Walker, Cam Scatterbo, and DeAndre Swift. Don't really need Woody, and it is redraft. So he's 1-3. He got offered JSN and Rashee Rice for Woody Marks, Emeka Ibuka, Deebo Samuel. So what would you do there? Redraft. He's 1-3. He's looking to shake it up to Shara. Would you make the move or not? Where are you at on that?
This is the perennial move you need to make to turn that 1-3 to 4-3 and make that start of that playoff. To get JSN and Rashee Rice, if this is even a half PPR league, that is a smash. You are getting two just absolute dominators in the wide receiver room. I know you're giving up Woody Marks, and we've talked a lot about him tonight, how we like him and whatnot, but I can live with losing that potential in your running back room because you still have Scatterbo and Swift and Genty. That's fine. Kenneth Walker is okay. Those are all serviceable guys. But to put you over the ceiling to really turn your season around, getting a Rashee Rice and a JSN, please sign me up for that. I'm smashing that immediately, and I'm not feeling bad about it. I think if you'll put your league mates on notice too by making a deal like this, it'll be oh, he's coming for us. He's still competing.
Tajiri, you just lit up with that one, and I agree. That is, I'm with you 100%. Easily give me JSN and Rashee Rice there, Elias. Like I said, that is a move I'm making. I think that is something that, as Teixeira said, that could really, do well for you. Smash accept that trade. Break your phone accepting. No doubt, man. That was a good one. Teixeira was about ready to jump through the screen. He was so excited for you. But Mr. Nice Guy asked, since we're talking trades, I'm thinking about targeting Swift after the bye. Schedule looks sweet. Your opinion now, Teixeira. DeAndre Swift's a player you know very well, being the Lions fan that you are. And, Ben Johnson's offense and style of offense he likes to play. Do you think that's a good move? Now, let me just ask you, Mr. Nice Guy, is this dynasty or redraft? Just a quick question, because that is interesting to know because, we could kind of give you an idea of how we feel about it one way or the other there. Just accept it. All right. Congratulations there. You did very well. No, thank you for the question. We appreciate it. You guys all have been awesome. We love doing these shows with you live, and that's why we do it, try to help people, and, we can all talk about it. It's a good forum, and it's a good community here, and we do enjoy doing that. So as we wait, Mr. Nice Guy's response of whether it's dynasty or redraft as far as DeAndre Swift goes, my Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week is Jerry Jeudy of the Cleveland Browns. I'm telling you right now, Dylan Gabriel's coming in. What is the team all about? Q is RB1 for you. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know with Cleveland right now. Q is RB1 for you. Other than that, I'm not all that interested. I do like me some Harold Fannin a little bit later on, not this game, but as a dynasty asset, I do like some Harold Fannin. But Jerry Jeudy, going back to what we all thought he was, unfortunately, like I said, it was nice to see him fight back last season. I don't blame it all on him. This Cleveland offense is terrible outside of Q as RB1 for you, but it's definitely not looking good for Jerry Jeudy. To share real quickly, I think you agree. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Jerry Jeudy has fallen into the symptom of the multiple problems that the Cleveland Browns has. He's not been a contributor, a difference maker, and he's just not getting the opportunities to perform like he did last year based off the quarterback play and game script alone. And I think the antidote for this Browns Cootie situation is Quinshawn Junkins. That should be the hyper focus, the tunnel. This is the only asset outside of Harold Fannin because I really love him too. But right now, especially in redraft, definitely if you can in Dynasty, throw out multiple. Do what you got to do to get that guy in your roster because he's going to be the future for that team. And I think Jerry Jeudy is an expiring asset. And if you can move on from him, if you can't, he's going to be serviceable for bye week fill-in or injuries, and it's just going to be a tough pill to swallow.
Absolutely. Mr. Nice Guy says Dynasty. Okay, to share. So he's targeting DeAndre Swift. Maybe after the bye week, we talk about the green light matchups, right? He's seeing a lot of good things coming down the road for DeAndre Swift. What would you feel comfortable with giving up for DeAndre Swift, or would you be interested in acquiring him at all? What would you be willing to give up? Where are you at right there?
I will throw him a bone here and be kind to DeAndre Swift tonight. I think I would give him give up a late 2026 second or early to mid 26 third to acquire DeAndre Swift if I have adequate starting options. I'm not looking to add him to my roster. If I'm trying to fit him in as my running back 2 or running back 1, he'd probably be my 3 or a flex option for that pass catching. But ideally, what I'm trying to do is avoid Swift at all costs in Dynasty because I think that the future at the running back position for Chicago either has not been drafted yet, has not been acquired via trade, or it hasn't been shown the opportunity yet, and that is Kyle Monangai. I've been advocating for him and the socials and elsewhere. I know it's a Bears player. You're shocked. I'm actually talking kindly about one for once, but I think this is a guy that is worth the add to your roster to pursue over a DeAndre Swift because I think he has the potential to usurp and have a higher ceiling and a stack of performances going forward in that Ben Johnson offense rest of season and beyond. I think that he is an adequate piece to acquire, and I think he's still affordable. And to do it now, I think if you could get my pivotal moment here about this question is I would rather acquire Monangai for cheaper than pay more to get DeAndre Swift for the shorter term value.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. And I'm glad you shared your input there to share a look. And, you kind of got an argument there, right? Like Swift had 81% snap share week 1, down to 57 week 2, 61, 66. So we are starting to see getting closer to that 60-40 type split. And you said yourself, like, Ben Johnson well. He kind of got rid of Swift in Detroit already once. And you're saying, like, okay, you can acquire Monangai pretty cheaply right now. Like, kind of sneakily cheaply, right? Mm-hmm. So I kind of like that. I think that's a good move. No, thank you, Mr. Nice Guy. I'm just trying to give you the best advice we can give you. I just don't feel.
I'm a Bears hater, so maybe TJ has more perspective to.
No, DeAndre Swift ain't my favorite target either. Like it's always been disappointment with him, right? Like, and why would we think that history is going to change now? Unfortunately, I know the schedule's looking good, and he could have a pop-off game every once in a while because that's what DeAndre Swift does. I just don't see it being consistently good enough, to carry anywhere. And like, I would just hold on to my draft capital. Like right now, I'd much rather. Like Mr. Nice Guy, if it was me, like if I have a 26 first, I'd much rather acquire ETN from Jacksonville. Like make a move like that. Like I'd be willing to give up a little bit more even to get an ETN than I would to give up a little bit less to get a Swift. And if you want to go bargain basement hunting, like Teixeira said, like Kyle Monangai is a good option. So I do agree with that. And you got to be a little bit careful and, hey, go out there and see what's available. If you guys have any other questions, you can always reach us, in the Dynasty DNA Discord. If you want the link to that, we can drop it. We're all in there. We talk about trades all the time, about 550 people in there right now. Or if you just want to say in one of the YouTube comments, hey, have a question, this offer's on the table. We're always available, guys. Like, you can always ask, and we'll always be happy to respond. And if you guys have Facebook, TESSERJA is doing the Dynasty DNA Podcasting Network on Facebook right now. He's got all kinds of great things going on over there. Dynasty DNA on Twitter. You can send us a message there, Dynasty DNA _. You can follow us there on Twitter. So our doors are always open. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. A great show like always. And let me just say, the questions, the engagement, you guys are awesome. We so appreciate that. New subscribers, the likes, the follows, like, you guys are the best. We really appreciate it. And we just enjoy football just as much as you guys do. And we love talking about it. And, if there's a way we can help you win, that just makes me happy. I always say it, like, if I can help other people win, I'm even happier than if I win myself at this point. So I just enjoy doing it. But this is a great episode. If you guys are enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, and follow here on YouTube, on Twitter, anywhere like that. If you do want to listen to full episodes, go to Dynasty DNA Podcast on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon, any of the big podcasting platforms, and check it out. And if you do enjoy the content, follow and 5-star the show. It greatly helps, and we so appreciate that. And we could talk to you in the comments over there as well. I know I speak for TESSERJA and everybody here at the Dynasty DNA Network when I say we hope you guys have an awesome weekend ahead of you. Good luck at all your Week 5 matchups. And we will be back Sunday morning, guys. Sunday morning, right around 11 Eastern time, live. We're going to be doing the Dynasty DNA Morning Show. Myself, Slim, TESSERJA, and Wiz will be here taking start-sit questions, taking trade questions, taking NFL questions, DFS stuff. Like, we're going to be here. Love to talk to you guys. Love to talk to you guys. But until then, have a great weekend, and we will see you all on the next episode of Stardom